1, 2, 3. For very few days, we hit Christmas. Are you excited? Does this excitement that usually comes with Christmas? Are people really excited now? I don't know. When you be thinking of where to get 12 for 14,000 to buy one chicken, 15,000. Okay, to buy one chicken for the family, or where you get 55 to 60,000 naira to buy one bag of rice. Not to talk of other things. I don't know, but we just have to continue, okay? We'll have to continue. This is our place. We belong here. We have no other place. Welcome. My name is Sijama Uche. Okay, in a very short while, we're going to bring you a press review, and then I will tell you those that are with me for that. Do stop by. Did you hear me? I said Nankabun Kai. Yeah, that is to say that this place belongs to all of us. Okay, joining me this morning to look at the front pages of the papers, Mr. Paulson Okeke. Mr. Paulson Okeke is a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Paulson.
Good morning, viewers.
Okay, and I also have Comrade Dominic Namdi Okabwe. He is a political scientist and also a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Namdi.
Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, DBS.
You're welcome. Okay, today, as usual, we are going to begin from the beginning, which is from our website, where we'll treat some stories that are making the round. The first one there says, Anambra State Assembly commenced Education Ministry on implementation of 2023 budget. And then ABS to hold 2023 Christmas fiesta in Oka. Yuletide, Mrs. Saludo begins charity visits to orphanages and welfare homes. Finally from here, stakeholders, COVID-19 engagement orientation end in Oka. Okay. Well, all these and many more are the stories making the round from our website this morning, www.absradiotv.com. Yeah, recently, there's this commendation that has gone into the Commissioner for Education. I said Minister for Education, watch it, NG. You might hit federal very soon. Okay, so the Commissioner for Education, on the way she has been able to manage her ministry and the budget for that ministry. Paulson, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, it is very good commendation. While we are commending the commissioner, because what the commissioner is doing is actually implementing the policies of the state government under Professor Charles Soludo, because that is one thing we know. Because if you check the recruitment exercise of teachers had come a long way to solving problems of rural schools where they don't have teachers, or teachers shy away from going to rural areas. But now that policy had made teachers to come from particular area, so that those teachers from those areas will stay in their villages and attend to schools. So that is very, very encouraging. And then making the teachers to go trainings in various areas of their discipline, so that they will have something to impact on the students, on the peoples as well, are things that are highly commended. Because if a teacher is not well equipped, what is he or she going to impact? So that is why all those training exercises some teachers have gone, some are still undergoing, are very, very commendable. So the way the commissioner has implemented the policy of the state government on education, we should commend her for that, because not many of them have actually done something highly commendable.
Yes, sometimes we hammer this word that we say, let this, the round peg be in the round hole. Yeah. I think that's what we're experiencing in the ministry now. Ngozi Chumaude, professor, being grounded an educationist. And then there's this strategy she used to catch some of these principals and headmistresses that violated the state government's law about
free education.
Free education. Yes, you might want to come in from that.
Yes.
Yes, Nnamdi.
Okay.
How do you see
well,
that?
like you said, she came from the academic background.
Yes.
And we're not surprised that she's doing marvelously well in the area of education. We must also commend the executive governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, because he provided the enabling environment for the commissioner to, actually work effectively. Well, when I want to comment on the issue of free education, the governor did fantastically well by granting that free education because of the difficulties, we are passing through in the society today. Like you said, some, schools, through their principal, wanted to manipulate the process, but because of the intelligence, emanating from the commissioner and other strategies they have put in place, they were able to, catch them and, averted the negative effect that would have caused. Like my senior colleague said, he said something about placement of teachers. We have rural areas, we have urban areas. And most times when you send teachers from urban area to rural areas, when you send teachers from urban areas to rural areas, they don't stay there. They only attend to school once in a week. And that will be for the detriment of the students. But with this strategy now, people who came from those rural areas who are also qualified are considered in the employment scheme. The effect of that is that they will actually base there, make sure they attend to students, and not the other way around. So all these strategies, need to be consolidated.
Okay.
Yes.
And in addition to this,
Okay.
government should monitor the teachers posted to particular areas. For instance, I know somebody as we are talking who is from Ayamelum and posted to Ayamelum, but she's living in Oka. You understand?
Okay.
So there's somebody from Ayamelum posted to Ayamelum Primary School, but she's living in Oka, going to school 2 times in a week.
So how do you expect the person to be running from Oka to Ayamelum daily? It's impossible.
No, 2 times a week. And I keep on imagining.
You, as a teacher, you have a class you're handling, and you don't come to school 3 days out of the 5 days of the week.
This forum to appeal to state government to monitor the postings, to make sure that if a particular person is posted to a particular area and he or she is not performing by not living in the area, in the neighborhood where going to school will be easy, or going to school 2 times in a week instead of 5 times in a week, government should look at it and sanction those people. So that's my appeal to government.
All right, thank you very much. Let's look at the activities of the First Lady, Mrs. Soludo, as she begins a charity visit to orphanages and welfare homes. Nnamdi,
Yes.
this is one thing that seems to be very new to us.
Yes, the action or activities of the First Lady of the state, Mrs. Nonye Soludo, is a very compassionate one. It shows empathy. It shows that she has a human heart. It shows that, the plight of those downtrodden is actually a priority to her, mission and the vision. It has to be commended because we've seen so many first ladies who has that opportunity, but to actually extend it to the needy becomes a problem. So what she's doing is highly commendable, and we urge other first ladies across board to emulate her. At this point in time, so many people are going through several difficulties, especially the less privileged. So finding out time and resources to, attend to these less privileged, I think is a great job, and has to be commended.
Okay.
Yeah, and emulating Mrs. Soludo on what she's doing, I want to still appeal to worthy citizens, people who can help others, to reach out. Because I think since 2020 during COVID, people have just learned that to buy rice, to buy other things, to share to people. Please, I want to encourage in the Anambra, especially the wealthy ones who can help. Let us continue to be our brothers' keepers by using this period to buy food items and some other things to help some families that are less privileged.
Yes, that's this thing that they used to say in the past. When you buy things, you want to maybe you ndị bụ na efi ma ọ bute rice asị na ị na-ana akala aka a na-asụsụ ụdị asụ akịta agụ na apịa ya
You see, it's a negative notion. It's a negative notion. Nobody collects your akala aka.
Which akala aka poverty? Oh, well, ego beze ina nata gị akala aka gị nwa dị poor.
So if you have, give out, no matter what people say.
Yeah.
Very important place. I need it. If they say no, no one na gese ba butera ya rebies. No. Okay, the last story we have here. Okay, it's not the last story because I'm going to take the second one by myself. Okay, stakeholders, COVID-19 engagements, orientation end in Awka. That's the story we had yesterday from the papers that COVID-19 is back. Okay, what exactly is going on? Okay, Nnamdi, you heard it?
Okay, yes, I read it on one of the newspapers, and they said it was recorded in one state in the north. And, you know, we just, the COVID-19, we battled over it, 2019, 2020, you know, and it's just a caution, okay? You know, the first one took everybody on our way.
Yeah.
So, and since then, the medical experts have, you know, has continued to engage, you know, on such similar cases. So, since it was quoted to have found in one state, I think the engagement, the stakeholders' engagement is basically to get the people prepared and to prevent other preventable, you know, measures towards making sure that we don't encounter what we encountered before. I think it's a good step.
Even at that, WHO has not announced that COVID-19 has gone completely. Yes.
Yes, I believe, yes.
Yeah, so WHO has not announced that, so which is an indication that it is still very, very much available, but operating maybe at a very, very low scale. So with that news, it's still a wake-up call for us to be conscious of what we are doing. Because this idea of wash your hand, restrict your movement, and use nose mask. Yes. Many people are still using nose masks as we are talking.
Yeah.
So it's an indication or a warning that COVID-19 is still available. So for us, whatever we are doing, we should all still remember COVID-19 regulations
and
observe them.
And observe them.
Okay, thank you very much. I said I jumped to number 2 story, which is ABS to hold 2023 Christmas Fiesta in Awka, because you guys are my guests, and I am of the family of ABS and also a member of the planning committee. But I just want to tell you that this one is something you have not seen before. It's going to be big, very, very, very massive. And it's going to hold tomorrow. Tomorrow is 15th day of December 2023. So you do well to join us. We're going to have a whole lot of things to entertain you with. Of course, it's not going to be business as usual because we brought in some cultural effects to it. You know, all this Carol of Niles, you hear it sing in so many languages, Efik, Igbo, you know, just like that. It's going to be bang. And we have this orchestra that is coming. You won't want to miss this one. 70 people singing at the same time.
Wow.
Okay? So you do join us. Where we're going to hold it is at All My Events. It's massive, so we felt we can't hold it inside here. So we decided to move it out. It's at All My Events, where you will sit and relax with air conditions blowing your head, and you'll be very comfortable. We're going to have so many people that we're going to give awards tomorrow. And then these are the people, ndị Anambra GMON, ndị Ejibili, ndị agagasị mmadụ nọkwa n'obodo afọ apụta. And Mandy, we got join now, the Royal Fathers got join now, a whole lot of things that is going to play out tomorrow. So you just don't have to miss this. Dress very well, it's Christmas. Look good. You don't just come there so that they don't bounce you. Dress yourself. I
think, let me just make a few comments.
Okay,
it's a good concept.
Yeah.
Working from January to December. Do you understand? At least there will be a period you entertain yourself, congratulate yourself and motivate yourself, and even motivate others who has contributed immensely towards the progress APS is making.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Exactly.
So I think it's a good, concept, and by the grace of God, we shall all be there to share them up and then motivate others, to impact more.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. If I get in, if I go, MD Chido Bidi Gusia Mugwage. My Obama Kefaga and no gaffy and Kage Lily Chesonia different delicacies, both local and continental. So you know really nenny. I don't know. Okay, let's venture into the papers and see what's trending this morning. We'll have the Punch, we'll have the Vanguard, we'll have the Guardian, the Daily Post, we'll have the Say, we'll have the Nation, we'll have the Tribune. Okay, there may be some other ones on the way, but let's start with the ones that are available here now. Punch is the first paper here. And the banner headline there says, Rivers Demolishes Assembly, Pro-Fabra, and then Pro-Fabra Speaker declares defector seat vacant. And let's see the riders there. Government justifies assembly demolition, says complex, not suitable for legislative businesses. Don't mind me, I just have to laugh. Okay, PDP directs legal advisor to sue defectors. Governor Fabra, afraid of his shadow, says APC. Okay, we'll later find out what exactly is going on in Rivers State. Okay, other stories coming from the Punch newspaper. NNPCL, not transparent on subsidy, dollar revenues. This is coming from World Bank, okay, from Sanusi to World Bank. I see Kaduna Bamin, military raises 8-man panel. Villagers disown 33 billion naira suit. Who wants to leverage on this? NLC rejects TCN privatization, demands policy reversal. These are many more the stories that you find from the front page of the Punch newspaper. Vanguard newspaper is our next this morning. Vanguard. Okay, poor Nigerians hit 104 million. World Bank is saying this. Poor Nigerians hit 100. Who says, okay, 104 million? I thought it was 1,000. I wanted to start raking now. Okay, ask NNPC to publish accounts and revenue flow. NNPC earnings under scrutiny. Idun is saying this, okay? Is Nigerians holding large fares in domiciliary accounts? What else is here? Industry Minister counters World Bank on power subsidy. Okay. Reverse crisis. State government demolishes assembly complex. We've seen that story. Tinubu sacks fan, NEMA, NSIB, NEMES, DGs. With some riders there. Okay, just a rider that says, suspense NCAA DG, removes NCAT rector. All right, that's all coming from here. Let's also see another paper before we start talking. The Guardian newspaper is our next. National statistics. Population overgrows economy amid rising dependence. This is a very worrying story. Population overgrows economy amid rising dependence and then misery. Okay, we may need to see Daily Post before we hit the mic again. Stop subsidy payments. Increase petrol price to 750 naira per liter. World Bank tells federal government. You see the problem we're having in this country? That this country is being run from outside. Once increase in VAT, taxes for SMEs, advice on fuel price hike insensitive. Dunst is saying this. And then subsidy removal hasn't brought expected gains in oil revenues. And then what other thing do we have here? Fuel selling about 700 in Northeast already. Okay, 680 is almost 700 here. As to excited, as federal government exempts varsities, polytechnics, others from IPPIS. Okay, that thing unazota again. Okay, Tinubu fires fan. We've seen that story. CBN suspends new request for intervention loans. And down here, what do I have here? February presents budget to 4 lawmakers. Demolishes reverse assembly. Impunity. everywhere you go. Okay, gentlemen, let's get back to Punch and see what exactly is trending in Rivers State. Nnamdi.
What is happening in Rivers State has called for the attention of all Nigerians. Yes, one may be saying that it is not happening in Anambra or Lagos or any other state, but injury to one is an injury to all. Injustice, according to Martin Luther King, anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We must live up to expectation where we need to speak out. What is happening in Rivers State is political madness. And I think it's caused by godfatherism and has necessitated a political conundrum. And that is exactly what we are suffering now in Rivers State. What is happening in Rivers State is a case where when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. It is obvious politically that the issue is between the former governor of Rivers State, Nelson Wike, who is now the minister for FCT, and his godson. Godson, because he campaigned for him, he installed him as governor, but along the line, I think something came up. They're having issues internally, and that issue has extended to the State House Assembly.
What do you think that came up, apart from resource control?
Yes, we may not be, we may not have the fact, but we know that something is happening inside. And I believe it's not unconnected to power sharing, economic, issues, and give and take. But the truth of the matter is that the governor is trying to save himself. How can you explain the situation whereby you have 27 members of the House defected to a party, from PDP to APC?
With PDP tickets?
Okay, and you are left with 4. Every sensible governor must know that something is happening, and you must do something to save your seat. Because after this defection, the next thing will be an impeachment move. And a few days to come, he will be expected to send the appropriation bill to the House. What if the impeachment came before the appropriation?
From the story we just got down from the Daily Post, that he has presented the budget
only to 4 members.
To just 4 members.
By declaring the seat of the other people, vacant. According to the court injunction we just saw yesterday. So everything that is happening in Rivers State is based on the political differences between the immediate past governor and the current governor. And I think stakeholders in Rivers State must have to come together, mediate, and resolve these political issues, because when it is left uncontrolled, it will spread more and affect, the people of Rivers State and Nigerians at large.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
It's not only that. We have to look at the genesis of the whole problem. Wike was a godfather who installed the governor, Fubara. And now he gave sensitive appointments to Fubara. Like the chief of staff to the governor was nominated by Wike. A chief security officer to the governor was nominated by Wike. And these people take instructions direct from Wike, working with the governor, but you take instructions from another person. So the governor was not at home with all these appointments. The governor cannot have his way in appointing some commissioners and the rest of it. So at the time, the governor is a human being. He's an executive governor. He has to pull his powers. So at the time when he becomes uncomfortable working with these 2 people and some others, he had to fire them. And the firing them sparked off this crisis. So where has it happened that a governor cannot appoint his aides? And that's the genesis of the problem. Yeah. And now look at what it is causing Rivers people. Now we can want to prove that he is the governor, that he installed the members of the House by directing them what to do.
Yeah.
Some members who have sympathy, like the so-called speaker currently, and 4 others who have sympathy to the governor, now said, no, we will not follow you. We are following the governor.
Yes.
It becomes a problem. So why should the River State be polarized just because of interest of one person? This is the kind of thing Anambra people suffered
Yes.
in 2005 during Anambra mayhem. When government offices were burnt, when this ABS we are saying was burnt, when other places were burnt, just because of people want to prove they are the godfather, and they went destroying the state infrastructure. Some of this is what has happened in Rivers now. There is no justification whatsoever for demolishing the House of Assembly. But the governor wants to prove that he is in charge. But it's not by demolishing the state building. After all, it's taxpayers' money of Rivers people. So whatever we do, we should not put ourselves.
So why do you think that that structure was demolished?
The governor wanted to demolish it to prove that so that they will not let these people have access to coming in to sit and impeach him.
Sorry, I think is a choice of words, because according to the governor, he said he's carrying out renovation activities within the house complex.
And he pulled
the structure is no longer
it down 100%.
Yes, maybe it's in the state interest, because anything can be the interest of the state.
No.
Okay, but another thing I want to find out now, this budget that was presented to just 4 members,
Yes.
is it legal? Is it a legal instrument now?
According to the governor, he got a court injunction that has banned the other 27, meaning that they are no longer a member of the house in the state.
And he
So you now have 4 members.
On that, yes, and based on that, position, he has only 4, and that 4 is majority. According to the news I read this morning, they have written INEC demanding that the election should hold in those constituencies where the 27 law members have vacated their seats. So I think it is in line with the stipulations of the law, according to the injunction he got from the court.
Okay. Let's look at the other aspect of what's going on in Rivers State, Paulson. Just yesterday, there's this video that started trending, the video of Asare Dokubo calling the president out, that he's a disappointment. He appears to be the worst worst president, because he allowed what is going on in Port Harcourt, in Rivers State. And some of us started asking, what role does he expect, do you expect him to play in that case? But then there was this other side of the story where we heard that what is happening in Rivers State had degenerated to ethnic interest, whereby the Ijaw people are saying that now it is their turn to be there, and then they're having this kind of problem that the Igbo Rivers ethnic group
the upland people
are trying to dominate every other tribe or every other ethnic group in Rivers State. Do you see that as one of the problems?
No, you see, when issues like this happen, people will begin to give various interpretations.
And with sentiments.
Yeah, and it may not be sentiment actually.
Really?
What is happening in Rivers is so bad that the president had to caution them at the beginning of this festering crisis. Yes. The president intervened and cautioned them. And then with the intervention of Mr. President, everybody thought that these men will now sheathe their swords and forge and move forward, not knowing that they went home and began to breed the crisis from underground again. So it's quite unfortunate that the FCT minister is not helping matters and is trying to compound problem and make Rivers ungovernable for the governor. That's quite unfortunate, because when he was the minister, or when he was governor, I don't think nobody disturbed him the way he's disturbing the current
Apart from being disturbed, there are so many videos that are trending where he was saying you don't have to,
that is one disturbing thing about human beings. Who will speak at any standard. You see, it is very bad, because, and I keep on saying it, whenever a man cannot stand on his word, that man is not a man. Wike has promised, and he went out in various fora saying that he cannot intervene. It is wrong to intervene. He has been a governor. What is he doing again as a governor? And blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, what is he finding again in the Rivers government house?
Human beings are so dynamic, and politicians are the most dynamic.
These are negatively dynamic.
Yes. Let me tell you this. The crisis, just like she rightly pointed out, And like I said earlier, what is Wike looking in Rivers State after serving as a governor for 8 years?
For 8 years.
Let me end it there. Whatever you've not gotten as a governor for 8 years, okay, how do you think that you get it through somebody? And this is unbearable and highly unbelievable. How can you nominate a chief of staff, SSG, and key positions to a governor you handed over?
Even
meaning
the chief security officer to the
meaning
governor.
that you will be running his administration from your bedroom. I think the governor is very correct by standing out his way, so that river people can hold him responsible on whatever he does for the state. And then on the issue of intervention, which was a call by
Asari
Dakubo, I think let me take you memory lane. In Anambra State, during the time of Ngige, similar thing happened. And the political gladiators and godfathers wanted to cage the then governor. But it took the intervention of the then vice president, Atiku, to rescue him from such a political catastrophe. And that was how Anambra exonerated themselves from the shackles, of godfatherism. And since then, you can see that we are recording development in all ramifications. But had it been these activities of godfatherism had continued, by now Anambra would have been a mess. Because by the time the location from federal government will come, they will share it, and at the end of the day, nothing will be left for implementation of policies and programs. So I think the federal government has to intervene. Wike is now a minister. First, we are ministerial work in the FCT and leave the governor to perform. And the same thing I'm saying across board. If you're a governor and after handing over, leave your successor to implement his own policy.
Okay.
For the good of the people.
All right. Thank you very much. There's this call that World Bank has just stepped in. I don't know. We saw the other side of it, the other paper. But from here, that is saying, World Bank is saying NNPC Limited, not transparent on subsidy dollar revenues and a whole lot of things. Was it 2 weeks ago? We saw Sanusi calling out on NNPC, and now it is World Bank.
Yes, you see, if you've been following events in this country, especially with the NNPC, for many years, NNPC has not published the audited account. And NNPC keeps on telling us, today they will tell us they pay, subsidy is this much. The other day they tell us subsidy is this much. And at the end of the day, they keep on, at the time they say, we have never paid subsidy for this period. So you don't know what to believe again about NNPC and their subsidy and what they do. Because NNPC is one organization in this country that has not produced a liter of petroleum. But they are spending billions of naira every month to pay salaries and do other maintenance.
Pay salaries to people that are not working.
People are not working. You have not produced a liter of petroleum products in this country, but you are paying salaries. What for?
Even employing people.
And even employing people to do what?
I think
when you are not in production, you are employing staff.
For the World Bank to come in and say NNPC account should be scrutinized, they echoed the what former Emir of Kano.
Yes,
Sanusi. Because Sanusi had never hidden his feelings about what is happening in NNPC. And he's been saying it even when Jonathan was there. As CBN governor, he was saying it up to down to this period. And nobody is giving ears, which means that those in power or those in authority know what is happening in NNPC, but they don't want to talk about it.
You know, there is something...
NNPC account is shrouded in secrecy.
I know. But
nobody knows what is happening in NNPC.
There's something Sanusi said that really struck my mind, and perhaps that's why that corruption in that aspect of our economy remains. How can a sitting president be a minister for petroleum?
And I tell you the reason.
So who will question him? What's going on there?
You see, there is no minister for petroleum now. Why? Because that is the way they want it to be run. And that will be for the detriment of the people. See, a lot of things are going wrong. And Sanusi said it all. He said, this actually cost me my job. Because he queried the process. And you see, all this cabal, when you query the process, they will now begin to see you as a threat.
And they come after you.
Everybody knows it, but who will say? The CBN knows what is happening in NNPC. Everybody knows. The presidency appoint a minister to supervise the activities in the ministry. No way. So there is a lot of things going on there, and who can talk? Who will talk? Nobody wants to talk.
Okay, nobody should talk. Let's remain silent and may perhaps be dying in silence, like we used to say. Okay, let's get to Daily Post and see the paper, the stories that are there. Subsidy, stop subsidy payments, increase petrol. Okay, it's still on that same NNPC wahala, but we need to talk about it because the World Bank is asking Nigeria to inflict more pains on Nigerians. Okay, it's asking the Nigerian government to inflict more pains on Nigeria. Stop subsidy payments, increase petrol price to 750 naira per liter. World Bank tells federal government. Let me read out all other words. So wants to increase wants increase in VAT taxes for SMEs, the small people that are making a living, you know. So increase their VAT, increase their taxes. Advice on fresh hike insensitive. This is coming from maybe University Dawn. And then subsidy removal hasn't brought expected gains in oil revenues and a whole lot of things. So let's talk about it. Who owns the land? Like the great musician asked.
I keep on querying one thing in this country. I always say, where will the Bretton Woods, that's the institutions, run our economy? That's World Bank and IMF.
Is it not what Sonny Okoson saw and asked, who owns this land?
I keep on asking, because these people are the people who will always tell us, do this and we do it, it will fail.
Yes.
Devalue your naira, they devalue.
I want to remember vividly, during Babangida days, it was this same World Bank that advised Babangida to devalue our currency. Yes. It was this same World Bank that advised
even the SAP policy.
We introduced SAP.
SAP policy
it was this same World Bank that was teleguiding our economy from one point to another. Yes. It was Nigeria's economy became a guinea pig or a laboratory where World Bank tests all manner of their policies.
None of them
worked. Look at where World Bank advice has left Nigeria. From devaluation of currency, from one point to another, devalue. And at a time, today, Nigeria economy is nothing to write home about. A very, very buoyant economy during Babangida days. Babangida inherited strong economy. But today we have a palace economy where the worth of naira has become very, very useless in the market. Where naira, before the period we were talking, it was 1 naira to $1. That was the period we were talking. But by the advice of World Bank and IMF, we are now 1,200 naira to $1. So that is the kind of institution that is advising us. Please, I want to say, World Bank should allow Nigerians to feel free. Advising Nigerian government to increase the price of fuel is to choke Nigerians the more. So it will not work for us. Even the current price is not working for us. We are being strangulated. So advising the government to increase it more is to kill us instrumentally.
Where are your economists?
That is the one point I wanted to say. Because we keep on smarting every time that we have an economist here, a professor of economy there, in World Bank, here and there. But these men cannot come together to fashion out a good economic policy that they will present to government and say, let us work with these policies.
I think
it is bad.
I think this is what we call neocolonialism.
In political science?
Yes. In political science, we call it neocolonialism, economic exploitation or economic extortion. They are extorting us. How can we be telling World Bank, IMF will be the one advising us on the best economic policy to follow? And none has ever favored us. Starting from the Babangida regime, we adopted the SAP, the Social Adjustment Program. And that has begun, and that started our suffering.
Yeah.
Up to today.
Yeah.
The SAP policy became the worst ever. See, they are telling us to stop subsidy and increase the
VAT and taxes.
750 per liter. We are into a serious suffering. You are trying to increase it again. That VAT you are increasing for the detriment of who? The petty traders, the low-income earners, SMEs. How do you expect them to grow? So I think we need a paradigm shift in our economic policy. If they cannot have a good economist, let them hire one. Because these policies are not working.
No, I don't know whether our government wants to go and raise up the likes of
no. What I really want to ask.
Aluko.
No, what I want to ask, what is it? Are they advising at a gunpoint? Is it a must you take their advice, or is there anything that blackmailing you with?
Yes, let me tell you something. These foreign donors and foreign institutions, there are what we call conditional grant and unconditional grant. Most times when they give you this option and you think you are intelligent, you cannot accept it. By the time you come for loan, they will refuse to give you the loan, or even tie it at a very high rate that will make you to succumb to their options. So it is a strategy designed for the perpetual manipulation and the neo-colonization of the third world countries, and which Nigeria is among.
Nigeria is among the third world countries, and it's not the only third world countries. If you look at some economy in Africa where we are, they're doing very well. So why do you always go for loan? Where do you always go begging, where you are supposed to be the giant of Africa? Why do you always want them to blackmail you with the grants and the loans when you can generate, when you can do things for yourself? So many other countries of African countries are doing very well. Are you the only people asking for loan?
Hey, Jama, you see the problem we have in this country is the insincerity to implement
and the loans you collected, what did you do with it?
That is actually where I want to come in.
And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yes.
The insincerity in implementing our policies is that government or those in authority, they know what to do, but they're not sincere in doing it. Because there's no justification that a government will go and bring a loan. When you source this loan, you will not use it, you will not invest it. Rather, you use it to pay salaries. You use it to consume and the other things.
And not for production.
And not for production. There is no country anywhere in the world that goes to bring loan without investment, except Nigerian government. Look at the purchase of SUV to ministers and the members of the National Assembly.
Yes.
590-something billion.
Yes.
What policy that money can't afford? So what government policy can 590-something billion not finance? But these people are not sincere. So when people talk about cost of governance, you find out that we go and obtain loan to finance government expenditures, not in investment, but in consumption. And that poses a very big problem that we don't manage our economy very well. Those who are managing our economy at a time, you begin to ask, where are the likes, what's this late man? Chuo Kongo, the famous minister we have in this country. Don't they have successors? Aluko. Don't they have successors? So there are people they worked with, they have successors. Even our governor here cannot always provide solutions. Because if you watch when Babangida was in charge, sorry, not Babangida, Olusegun Obasanjo, Obasanjo assembled good economic team that was able to pilot this country throughout his 8 years tenure.
Between 1999
and 2007.
Yes.
Babangida, Obasanjo piloted this country so much so that Nigeria didn't obtain much loan to run this country.
Even the one we obtained through his engagement, he was the Paris Club was able to forgive Nigeria.
Yeah, because
over billions of naira.
There's some good economic policies he has on ground that will revive Nigeria's economy.
I always tell people, our problem is not how to generate the fund. Nigeria has enough money. Our problem is poor management of the fund. It was Ashebe who said that the problem with Nigeria is fair and square, that of leadership. The problem we are having in Nigeria is poor leadership policy.
You want to answer president when you don't have anything to bring to the table.
Yes, the moment
you don't know how to handle the situation, you don't know how to, but you want to be
the moment you are elected, you leave politics and face governance. But our problem is that the moment we are elected, we will continue with the politics and forget governance.
Let me tell you one problem we have, another problem.
Okay, before we go to that problems, let's take other stories together. So we'll pack everything together so we'll talk for want of time. Okay, I hope you don't mind. The next paper we want to look at now is the This Day paper. This Day paper on the front page. The front page of this paper is usually very busy. You don't know which one is headline. Okay, with 4 soldiers killed, 2 Korean kidnapped, security concerns mount in Rivers. Okay, is on the front page of this day newspaper. And then, but what I think is the banner headline there is this one: Federal Access Control in Rivers presents 2024 budget to 4-member assembly. We have seen that story. Okay, so let's see the Nation newspaper. Assembly complex demolition sinks Rivers deeper into crisis. This is also coming from Rivers State Wahala. We can't be cowed, say 27 House members. Fubara presents budget to 4 lawmakers at Government House. Okay, since the assembly is demolished, anywhere now becomes the... But does this thing Constitution say about sitting where is not constitutionally? It's okay. Then Nigerian Tribune, Rivers. Legal issues arise as government demolishes assembly complex. What I'm seeing in Rivers State case, God will help us. Okay, Daily Sun is our last paper this morning. Rivers crisis. Fubara draws battle lines. With some riders there, demolishes assembly complex, moves against defecting lawmakers. 4 loyal lawmakers expel colleagues as governor presents 2024 appropriation bill to assembly. And then count us out of crisis. Federal government is saying this. Count us out of crisis.
Political statement.
Okay. Other stories coming from the Daily Sun. Many feared kill in Ekiti robbery. Too bad. Sanwo-Olu presents 2.2 trillion naira 2024 budget to assembly. Borno's governor Zulum plans to spend 340.5 billion naira, I wanted to say dollars, in 2024. Okay, we will deliver affordable housing to low middle income earners. This is coming from Mba. Mba is the governor of Enugu State. Tinubu approves sack, suspension, replacement of aviation.
And that's ethnicity.
Yes.
If you are not from my area, you
Yes.
you are not a good person to run the economy.
Nepotism and favoritism.
A nation does not make progress if you begin to look for people who must be loyal to you, to serve you and deliver. They will not deliver because they will take it, add it ethnic coloration in doing that.
Okay.
So what the government should do is to go out, source for best hands, Nigerians, wherever they are. No matter if it's from a job, from Europe, from wherever. So long as he's a Nigerian, get him. Let us get Nigeria running. So that's the one thing.
Okay. That's
Then
one
from
thing.
the Sun, like we read, U.S. lawmaker asked the Supreme Court to release Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally.
No, before we get to that one, let's finalize this ethnic declaration where we have issues, people accusing the president now that, like his predecessor, that he's very tribalistic. Now, there's this story here that Tinubu sacks FAN, NEMA, NISB, and then NIMET DGs. And one will sit by the side and ask again, is he trying to replace them with his tribesmen?
He has already replaced already. Most of them.
Really?
But that's not the bone of contention. The bone of contention, this is politics.
I know.
And this is politics and governance. These two goes goes together. You cannot differentiate this from this. How do you expect? You see, it is only in Nigeria that I've seen people appointed into a particular position, and the person who appointed you exited, and you think you can succeed. It is practically impossible in politics. It's only few, with the grace of God, and their contact, it depends. The president was elected under the platform of APC, okay? And when he's coming in, he has a blueprint, has a plan of whom he wants to favor.
On party basis.
On party basis, on party line.
Because party is supreme.
The other people who were sacked were appointed by the former president. So you expect this president to come and still retain them?
Okay, not really. What we are looking at is
understand?
the ethnic coloration about your appointment.
Yes.
We mentioned Obasanjo. He's from the West. But when he was here as the president, he used people from different parts of the world.
Let me tell
people
you
that
too.
can give him what he
Yes,
wants.
let me tell you
And he
too.
was able to deliver.
Yeah, even this president, have also made some appointments that does not even reflect any form of sentimentality.
Okay.
Look at the former the minister for works. It's a key position in government. It's an Igbo man. How much vote did the APC got in the southeast? I'm not holding brief for anybody, but I'm looking at the issue of sentimental politics,
Nigerian
ethnicity.
politics.
Yes. The FCT minister came from Rivers.
South.
These are positions that are considered to be a northern position. For how many years ago have we had a minister of works for Nigeria, an Igbo man? How many years ago have we had a FCT minister from this side of the south? And some other positions? Yes, the owner of the person who shares the fruit, okay, takes the larger part. So when you see some positions, aligning to, just like you said, these things are understandable.
natural.
And
They're
even if you are the one, if he happens to be the president tomorrow, you also reflect such correlation.
My brother.
But what is important is for us to balance it so that people will not notice, the agitation.
My brother, I differ with you on this point. Do you know why I differ with you?
Yes.
There's that hallmark of leadership. The one thing we keep on saying at every point in time when we discuss leadership is living above board. Like Caesar's wife,
Yes.
live above board.
Yes.
What does it mean? Living above board is shunning all sentiments, doing what is right. So that you, as a president, you are the president of all. You are no longer president of a political party or your people. You are the father of all. Therefore, in appointment, you should be equitable. In anything you do, you should be equitable. But it's only in Nigeria that people will say, oh, let us stop talking because he has given our brother a minister. Therefore, after all, we didn't vote him. No. He has given you a minister because it is constitutional. That's why he gave you a minister. But when it comes to cabinet appointment, key positions, kitchen appointment, that is when he will reflect that he's the president of all. President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, in his kitchen appointments.
Kitchen cabinet.
Kitchen cabinet. Who are there? How many Igbos are there? So we should be talking very, very well. That he gave an Igbo man a minister, we should applaud him, but we should not go higher in applauding him.
He gave you a juicy ministry, not just a ministry. They'll be giving you
He gave him because Umahi can deliver. He trusted Umahi. And he knew he can deliver. That's why he gave it to him.
He's the only person that can
Is he the only person that can
deliver.
Well, maybe he's...
Don't you have people from the west or the north who can also deliver?
No, we should not. He should not. What he did is quite in order. But then there are states that even the north is crying now the way he makes his appointments. Because the appointment is tilted to the west.
Where were they when Buhari was doing his own
That's what
appointments?
most of us are telling them, that your brother was there for 8 years. And
And
his
he
appointments
did the
tilted
worst
to the
steps
north.
of
Now,
politics.
his own is tilted to the west.
Okay, gentlemen,
and
for
we are
want of
saying
time-
it's not the right way
For
to
want
do
of
it.
time,
That's
let's
what
move
we are
on. Let's
saying.
move on. You wanted to talk on Kanu issue. U.S. lawmaker urges Supreme Court to release Kanu unconditionally. You wanted to talk on that earlier.
Yeah, it is a deliberate thing, one may say, that Nnamdi Kanu is being held illegally. Illegally in the sense that Court of Appeal, Nigeria, has granted him bail. Even the same Supreme Court has granted him bail until the former Malami, the former Attorney General,
Raise another fresh card.
another fresh charge.
Yes.
So any other thing.
Okay.
So that we can have peace in the Southeast.
I think,
And so,
yeah.
President Ahmed Bola Tinubu should consider this and genuinely release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay.
This is a threat to our democracy. And for us to achieve proper democratic consolidation, we must observe rule of law. We must obey rule of law. Democracy is not all about free and fair election. It also has to do with observing the legal, stipulations. A court of competent jurisdiction have, made statement on a particular issue, and you refuse to obey it. That is undemocratic. So we must have to, abide by democratic principles. And part of it is what is happening now. Like you said, 2 court of competent jurisdiction has, ever before now, granted him bail unconditionally, and the executive seems not to, be hearing that. I think this call from a U.S. lawmaker will also intensify their, I think they will hear it.
So much so he's going to court tomorrow. Okay. And finally, before we go, FEC exempts tertiary institutions from IPPIS. I think this is one of the reasons why the ASU has been going on strike over years. Okay, asking to be exempted from this and a whole lot of things that are asking. Now that this has happened, what do we expect from the universities?
We expect that the universities can now shoot their swords. That's the ASU. We expect that the ASU can now shoot their swords with all the myriads of demands that are coming from. Top amongst them is this IPPIS system payment. So they should now focus on delivering on their activities. The students in school also should buckle up to know that they make a demand from the federal government, and federal government has yielded to their demands. So what else do they do? Other demands, they could follow it gradually. I'm not going on strike again because it's not helping our education sector, especially the tertiary institution. So ASU and other
tertiary institutions,
other what do I call them? Other bodies in tertiary institutions should face the academic activities. Other demands they have to make, they should do them gradually, because everything cannot be done in one day. So that's one thing.
Just like you said, human needs are insatiable. You solve this one today, the next day another thing comes up. It is so because the society itself changes. The cost of a bag of rice last year is no longer the cost today. If ASU, for example, is demanding, just for example, is demanding for 100,000 naira salary increase, I say for example, and that was based on the preventing realities in the past year, 5 years ago. Today, things keep changing. So the more things keep changing, the more their demands, keep rising. So I want to commend the federal government for signing this one. I also appeal to ASU to also understand that they're not the only sector the government is taking care of. As time goes on, if there must be any demand, let them do it in a very diplomatic way, so that the students in the school will no longer suffer what was witnessed last year and what have you.
The other years. Terrible. Thank you very much. Those of us that stayed there 6 years for 4 years plus in the universities. Okay, before we go, there's this other story from Tribune. INEC's failure to prosecute electoral offenders worrisome. This is coming from NBA. NBA is Nigerian Bar Association. For once, I have heard them talk about this because at a stage, I started thinking that executive and judiciary and the legislature have been meshed as one body. So now that the NBA has started speaking, that INEC's failure to prosecute electoral offenders
is it the responsibility of the INEC to punish electoral offenders,
or the law enforcement agency?
Or is it yes? Is it the responsibility of the INEC? Don't we have the judiciary? If somebody does what is not supposed to do, like what happened in Adamawa, okay, and various parts of Nigeria, what is important is to put up a petition, okay, and let the court do the needful. So far, we have the evidence. If we expect INEC to punish them, the same INEC itself is guilty of what you are asking them to punish one person for. How sure are you that the actions of the person in question was not an instruction from above within the INEC circle? So I think if we must do something and get it right, let us shift from INEC to the agency that is responsible for the punishment of law offenders.
From what transpired during the tribunals, does even the judiciary have the face to come and face us and tell us that this INEC is not doing very well? Has judiciary fared well in Nigeria?
That is also part of the problem, because when your responsibility is being, induced by some factors, you will not have that full obligation to actually demonstrate what you saw. I wouldn't like to mention one or two things, but the truth of the matter is that the judiciary is supposed to be independent, but on the other way around, they are not. The actions, they got instruction from somewhere, because we all saw what transpired in various parts of Nigeria during the election. Even the common man knows. But at the end of the day, when you go to court, you come back with nothing, meaning that there is problem somewhere.
There is problem somewhere.
Look at it from this angle too. You see, there's this call or recommendation by Justice Uwai's panel in 2014 that INEC should be unbundled. That is one thing. That's one key area. Because INEC is saddled with a lot of responsibilities. And because of that, Justice Wise recommended INEC should be unbundled. So there will be this Directorate of Prosecution of Electoral Offenders and some others. But it is not done. And since it is not done, INEC will continue to wobble the way it is wobbling.
Everybody wants to control a large
INEC will continue
empire.
to wobble.
Okay, ECOWAS Parliament gives conditions to Niger military junta. Are they retracting their...
They are.
What they're supposed to do first, they're doing it last.
No, you see,
let's just play with that.
After all those threats and so on, the military junta, I see they don't send them. So the military junta doesn't send to ECOWAS. Now ECOWAS have seen that these people, they are living in their own country. Therefore, you cannot dictate for them what they should do.
Exactly.
And their people are happy with
That's one unfortunate thing ECOWAS didn't know. In as much as you have that umbrella organization of states of West Africa,
states.
It is still an internal affair of Niger Republic to organize queue or to organize the election. You cannot come to dictate for them. And those boys those khaki boys in Niger stick to their gun. Because they saw their country going down.
Yes.
And they come up to rescue. And they are not trying to dictate for them.
Okay.
So they are doing the first and last.
I see. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I think it's been a very good bite this morning, as we had all the time to talk about this and a whole lot. So I'd like to thank you for joining us this morning. Paulson Okeke, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having us.
And Comrade Nnamdi, thank you very much for coming. Okay. Well, that's the way we have rolled it this morning. I hope you had fun joining us this morning. For those of you that helped us to make it happen, I'd like to thank you very much. My name is Sijama. God keeping us alive, we're going to be here tomorrow morning to conclude this week's edition of Good Morning Anambra. Do have a good day. Remember, tomorrow is the D-Day when we all wait for you at Oma event for the Carol of Nine lesson, the cultural aspect of it. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.